What's going on, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and this is just part 2 of the Alperen Sengun full game video breakdown. So he's going to be number 23 in the white, circling him right here. And let's go. Let's get it started. Third quarter here. This is a FIBA, I think, Europe Cup game. And yeah, Besiktas actually was eliminated in the group stage in this competition, but Sengun had some really good performances. I think in the 3 games, he averaged like 17, 9, and like 4. So like really good stuff. And yeah, we'll watch him play the second half. First half, I thought he did a lot of things really well. I thought he shared the ball extremely well. He was showing that kind of high IQ that he has right here. Just simple walking into a DHO, just kind of getting it in the right spot. And again, setting that screen to just giving, I think that's Joel Berry? No, that's James Blackman Jr. Giving Blackman Jr. just kind of enough space to shoot, right? We talked about Sengun being just a really instinctual, like, screen setter, passer, defender, just all of those things. His feel for the game is outstanding. And, yeah, I think he's going to be a very, very solid NBA player. Gets that rebound right there. And let's see what he does here. So it's going to high ball screen. Again, nice, solid screen set. Not the greatest shot in the world from Joel Berry. But regardless, empty possession there for Besiktas, and we got a foul here. See. Again, Sengun, really nice job just kind of reading that pass all the way. This is what I mean with Sengun, right? Like, the enigmatic effectiveness, right? Like, he does things like this, and you're just like, this guy is so fucking good. But then it's just, at the same time, it's like, how good is he defensively? Like, there are just so many issues with him. Not like any of which are really his fault, I would say. Just more of just like, his play style and his strength on the basketball floor just creates so many just headaches for NBA teams, I think, just because nobody really knows how much to utilize him, how much to use him, how much leash to give him offensively, defensively, how much is he worth putting on the floor due to his offense, given that his defense might be a little bit, slower. But right here, again, showing those instincts, he's going to tip the pass out to himself, get the interception, then leading the break again. We've seen what he can do in the open floor, and then just this pass is just unbelievable, right? He's going to do like that little half spin. I think it's going to be with his right hand behind the back. Like, that's just really impressive to be able to see that cutter. Just incredible stuff. We're going to see a replay of it right here. Maybe White got away with a little bit of a travel, but overall, really high-level play from Sengun. You can see him right here. Maybe got a little bit caught on the high side, and no foul call there, but you can see Sengun's positioning was a little bit off there, I would say, but he did a really nice job to recover and ultimately contest that shot. I think we got a foul. No, just inbounds play right here. But again, right here, you can kind of see him just kind of like standing around defensively, not really in a great stance, kind of pretty far away from his guy. Definitely more comfortable as kind of like a drop big as we got to travel here. And obviously the reason why that's concerning is because we've seen drop bigs get played off the floor in the last few playoffs, right? Whether it be Brook Lopez, Ivica Zubac, any of those guys, it creates issues. So we'll see, again, how far his offense can carry him, basically in terms of staying on the floor. And here we go. We got Besiktas kind of extending that defense. And it should be a pick and roll. And again, right here, just kind of, again, Sengun does a really nice job kind of just being in 2 places at once here. But overall, so on this screen, look at how deep he is right here, right? And so, honestly, if this point guard right here is Damian Lillard, if he's, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, any of these really good NBA guards, this is going to be a wide-open three-point shot for them, right? And so this is where this screenshot kind of encapsulates the issue with Sengun defensively, because he's not really that switchable on that end of the floor. You know what I mean? He has good timing and instincts, as we'll see here, right? Just kind of getting that deflection. I think he may have gotten, he got some hand on the ball or something like that, right? So he has really good instincts right there. Bad pass from his teammate. But, and so, that kind of makes up for a lot of it. But in the NBA, that's going to be Damian Lillard coming around that screen, right? That's going to be James Harden. That's going to be Kyrie Irving. That's going to be all these really good NBA-level guards, and they know how to take advantage of drop coverages. Like Kemba Walker does that a shit ton, right? Chris Paul, obviously, is very good at taking advantage of ball screens like that. And so it's just going to kind of be like, just kind of like, you got to feel him out in terms of what they can get away with, or what Alperen can get away with defensively, given the fact that he's not the quickest laterally, right? Not switchable, really. And so we'll see where he kind of falls on this spectrum of playability defensively early in his career. But one thing is for sure, though, his offense is going to carry him a long way. Just how far, not certain on that yet. But it's definitely going to be his calling card on the floor. So we got a bunch of review right here. Long review. And there we go. Again, Sengun playing in drop, kind of just switching that almost. And we got him on number 20. But again, just really smart stuff off the ball, right? Because right here, you're going to see him kind of jump this passing lane to this, like, kind of this post-up, right? And he's just able to get that ball, or almost get that ball. But again, just kind of creates chaos defensively on that possession, right? Which in this case is a good chaos because it's getting the offense all screwed up, right? And you're going to see right there, Sengun just kind of jumping that passing lane. Again, like when he's kind of on point defensively, right? I feel like sometimes he can kind of get a little bit like lazy on that end just because he won't always be in a stance, right? But overall, like his instincts, timing, and just overall awareness on that end of the floor, I think is really good. And you can see it right there. Just his ability to jump that passing lane and ultimately force a turnover for CBU. We got another loose ball right here. And Sengun, see, like right here, this is just another example where it's just like, this wouldn't be the time in my mind to really try and like fight this guy at the point. I would probably just drop back right here because he's going to try and get there, and then he's just like, like he doesn't really have that great of, again, lateral quickness, end-to-end speed, right? Those aren't his strengths. And so I questioned that decision right there. Led to an easy layup for CBU right there. But, just kind of like, part of it's just kind of improving those areas of weakness defensively and just also knowing who you are, right? If you're a drop big, then play like a drop big. Don't be going after these like dribblers in transition, right? That's always going to be something that, that you'll probably get cooked on, right? We got another ball screen here again. Sengun, just like this stuff, right? And, I think he's a good defender in terms of instincts, timing. I mentioned that, but just sometimes he just looks totally just unenthused on that end, right? You can see he's straight up right here, kind of walking around. He's flat-footed, right? Just kind of standing there, just looking like, he kind of looks like Will Smith in that one meme where he's just kind of looking around everybody to an empty house, right? And you can see right here, lazy closeout, but then again, he just kind of bails himself out because of his timing, which is actually really funny. So right here, just pretty lazy closeout, right? If this is a quicker player, he's probably attacking Sengun and getting to the rim for a dunk. But, this guy's going to make a bad pass. Sengun just kind of has those quick hands, and he's able to get a deflection and ultimately leads to a steal. But, again, just kind of showing, like, that dichotomy almost between, like, the, like, how much, like, his instincts being really good and just his overall just, like, the looks of his defense not being up to par, I would say, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of just thinking, like, okay, are these results that he's getting in this game and throughout the season, are they, translatable to the NBA, which obviously that can be said about his entire game. Is it going to be translatable, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. He's one of the more mysterious prospects in the draft, just from like a just overall evaluation standpoint. We got, again, Besiktas is going to try and extend this defense, it looks like. We got Sengun on the block again. Right there, decent layup attempt from CBU. And here we go. So setting that screen around, trying to get that secondary guard up into a ball screen with Sengun. He's going to roll. And again, just like watch how physical he is right here on these ball screens, right? So he gets this switch, or CBU is going to switch this ball screen, and just watch Sengun just kind of bulldoze his way back to the block. Right, just like right here, it's just like how do you stop that, right? He notices the mismatch and he knows he can bully him physically, and then he does it, right? Just kind of like those instincts so many young players struggle with, especially in a game that moves a lot faster than college and there's a lot less margin for error because it is a pro league, right? And so that's just kind of like really impressive with Sengun. But then again, you get like these issues right here, and this is where I think he's going to really struggle defensively, right? So he tries to help on this drive. I understand that, but then just like watch how late, like he's so far back, right? And just watch the overall closeout effort here. There is really no urgency, right? He's just kind of like waddling up there, you know. And so I think that's definitely going to need to improve. And I'm not really sure if this effort is just like, you don't really know with these types because right there, kind of a tough shot for Sengun. Not really his fault though, you know, best he could do. But you don't really know though, like, is the defense lacking right now in terms of like effort and focus because he has to do so much offensively, or is that just like his overall play style, right? Like, will the defense get better with a lessened role on the other end of the floor? We don't know. And we got like that was the thing with Ben Simmons, right? Like Ben Simmons when he was at LSU, like he had zero interest in defending, right? Like zero. But you obviously Ben Simmons was like a fantastic defender, probably like a top 5 overall defender in the league right now, right? And it's probably because, you know, his offensive role was kind of lessened because at LSU he had to do basically everything, right? And so that always kind of comes into Jesus, Sengun, man, just sometimes you just watch him and it's just so funny, just the simple advantages he could create just with like, his footwork, right? We saw that beautiful spin move up and under that he had in the first half where he got a layup and a free throw out of it, right? Right here, just kind of like the simple hesitation, right? He just stops, right? Just this guy goes by him and it's just so funny, like, and he just dunks it. It's so funny how easy it looks for him offensively. You can see right there, really nice job with that dunk. Just going around him, kind of like a swim move almost. And again, he's so patient, so composed. Similar to Josh Giddey, right? Like, we talk about how Giddey is just so composed at his age. Sengun is definitely in that category for, like, being one of the more, like, composed and just overall unfazed, you know, players in this draft class. He never gets sped up, right? He's never going to, right there, Sengun, let's see what he does here. And again, just... This is just silly. Like, what he's doing right now offensively, this quarter has been phenomenal, right? Again, just watch this entire play. He's just going to come down right down Main Street, right? Good pass number 2. He fumbles the ball. It doesn't really matter. He's not sped up, right? You know, he probably gets fouled right there. And again, he just finds a perfect pass. Easy 3. That's the stuff that's just super impressive. Yeah, it's just it's so much fun to watch, really. Let's see what we got here. There's going to be, yeah. And Sengun gets that block. This is what I mean. Like, when he's active defensively and he's allowed to kind of just play around the paint, because we mentioned it earlier, right? Like, inside 10 to 15 feet of the basket, very solid defender, right? Because he's good. He doesn't really have to move around a whole lot. And again, he has pretty good timing and instincts. So despite having that lacking vertical athleticism, he's able to get blocks like that, right? And then obviously it's off of CBU. And you can see Sengun's having himself a quarter, probably his best quarter of the game so far. We'll watch this block again, right? Just the timing right there is phenomenal. But going back to the Ben Simmons things, right? Like, so Ben Simmons, like, we knew he could be a good defender, but it was just like he didn't do anything close to what he was doing in the NBA at LSU. And so, you know, obviously, like, how much of that is role dependent, we don't know. Now, I will say that Sengun doesn't really have the, you know, the upside of Ben Simmons defensively. I think that's pretty obvious. But I do think that he may be a better defender just in terms of overall engagement that we might be able to see, you know? So that's just kind of an interesting thing. Right here, this is the fourth quarter. We skipped ahead about 10 minutes of YouTube time, 5 minutes of game time. So this is now the fourth quarter. You can see Besiktas has opened up a massive lead. And if you look at the box score for this game, it's actually hilarious because, like, it was a pretty close game, I think, at the end of the half, right? And then Besiktas outscored CBU by, like, 20 points in the third quarter. And then in this game, it's going to be like the total opposite. Like, CBU is going to go on this huge run. I think Besiktas ultimately wins by like 10. But it's just funny because like they're probably going to score like 8 points in this quarter. FYI. So we got Sengun right here. Trying to get something going on the perimeter. Can't really do it much. Yeah, and here comes CBU on the fast break. Really nice pass too. Good job from them, and I think we got a quick timeout right here for Besiktas. But no, let me know what you guys think of Sengun, because really, I'm kind of all ears on him. So right now, I have him at 13, and that's without having looked at Kuminga and given him a rank yet. So my guess is that he's probably going to end up 14 on my board, but he's in between Jared Butler and Keon Johnson. So I think he's better than Keon Johnson, but Jared Butler, as you guys know, I'm like super high on him. And he actually just got cleared medically today by the NBA, so that's good. Good for him. But that's where I have Sengun right now. He might rise a few spots. I'm kind of thinking, like, I think his ceiling for me is probably going to be 12. Just because I think I'm pretty set with, like, the top 11 guys. But he's definitely one of those guys that I think, he's definitely a top 15 guy for me. No question about that. The feel, the passing, the IQ, the scoring, the low post dominance, the fundamentals, the footwork, all that stuff is just perfect for me. So I'm good with that, And yeah, so that's why he's for sure top 15 for me. Maybe sneaks into the top 11, although I think it'll be hard for him to do so just because I really like the top 11 guys right now. At least my top 11 guys. So we'll see where he ends up, but for sure top 15. Definitely a first round guy, And we'll see. He could make me look silly because, as we've seen, like, people are all over him, all over the place with him. Really nice job here. Again, just the footwork. He can't get that one to go with his left hand, but he looks comfortable shooting with that left hand, which is his offhand, which is big for him kind of moving forward. But again, just the footwork allows him to create so many advantages and openings, right? So just kind of like, it's so weird. Like, he kind of is taking the gather step, right? We talk about the gather step a lot when it comes to, like, calling, is this a travel? Like, travel or not, right? Like, we always see those, like, Instagram accounts, right, where it's just like, travel or not, right? And it's like Carmelo Anthony doing some weird dribble move, right? And it's not a travel. But it's just like, it looks like a travel, right? Sengun kind of almost does that in the post, which I think is kind of like, he might be the first guy to, like, really kind of start doing this, right? But just watch his move right here as he enters the post. Like, watch how he almost takes an extra step in between dribbles, and it kind of creates a little bit more of an opening for him. Right, so like kind of right there, you can see that 2-footed drop step, but he kind of uses that extra gather step. And yeah, it's kind of cool with the footwork because it's so good and it's so advanced. I think that really kind of goes a long way in kind of creating these, these openings for him. Because he's Sengun right here. Let's see, again, kind of got sucked into the vortex right there on that handle. And again, like, there's really no reason to help out this far because it should be this guy kind of rotating over. Sengun needs to be on his guy, but you can see right there. And again, if that's a pick and pop shooter, right, that's an issue, right? Now you can see Sengun kind of all over the place, and then now he's not even near his man. He has to come up, and they missed a shot. Good, it was pretty good defense on the perimeter from Besiktas, but like Sengun kind of struggles in terms of trying to like cover a lot of ground. He's no like. I'm trying to think of who is the. He's no like Usman Garuba defensively, where Garuba can just like fly around the court, right? He is not that at all. And so I think that's something that I think he'll definitely need to kind of mitigate in terms of his weaknesses. But if you're just looking at his weaknesses, though, he really doesn't have a lot. It's really just the defense and just kind of the limitations there that we've already pretty much discussed in depth. And then it's probably just the lack of shooting that he has offensively, which I think there is a case that he can become a decent shooter. But even if he doesn't, like, he's so effective in the post that it almost doesn't matter. Right here, a sloppy pass from, I think that's Joel Berry, leading to a dunk for CBU. And it's going to be a replay. And here we go. Got another foul here. Man, here we go. And you got a layup there for Besiktas. Okay. But, yeah, it's just kind of just, just the timing offensively. And again, it's gonna be one of two paths with Sengun in terms of getting playing time, right? It's going to be path A, which is that he doesn't become like generationally gifted on offense, right? And he just improves as a defender and is still a very valuable player. Or B, the defense doesn't necessarily need to get better because he's just so good offensively, right? Like a Nikola Jokic situation, right? I lean, obviously, path A. I think that's more likely, as it is for most of these guys. Obviously, you're going to bet against any player pretty much becoming like a generationally, like, gifted offensive superstar. That's just kind of, like, not what you're not really going to take those odds with nearly most players, I would say. Like, obviously, if it's like a Luka or something like that, you're going to maybe adjust those odds. But, so, like, there are two paths for him to find minutes on the NBA floor. Right here, we're going to get Sengun shooting free throws again. Uh, it's like 79% from the year. But in this game, he was 4 of 8. And you can see that's like the second one that's like barely rimmed out. So again, the touch I think is there. I don't really think the form is that bad. I think it's a little bit quick. I think it's a little bit rushed, maybe a little bit too low. But we'll watch it here. But again, I kind of think that looks okay to me, right? I think he shoots a pretty easy ball from the stripe. And so that's kind of just my eye test version of it. I know some people that I've talked to have a little bit more issues with it, but overall I think it's okay. You can see Sengun right here kind of just jogging up the floor. And he's going to set this ball screen. Good reject by Markel Johnson, former North Carolina State guy. Really nice reject right there. And here we go. And here's Sengun, just kind of, again, in the post, basically. Good box out right there. But again, you can kind of see just how he kind of just, like, saunters around defensively, right? He just kind of looks like he's sleepwalking at times. And at other times, but it is kind of remarkable almost. You can see right there, another really nice job of just rolling hard to the rim and getting a hand on that to just get that shooting foul. But it's almost kind of funny how, like, snap at a finger and he, like, turns it on, right? Like, then all of a sudden he can become, like, super engaged, right? He can get deflections, block shots, It's just really weird. Like, you wonder, like, if he's starting in a more disciplined spot defensively, like, how much has that improved his overall outlook on that end of the floor? Right there, rattles home that free throw. And we'll get the second one right here. And he makes both right there. So, again, I think the touch is there. I think he's, again, soft, easy ball. So, like, I'm not sure if he's ever going to become, like, a three-point shooter necessarily, but I think there's enough hope for me there where, like, it wouldn't, like, negatively affect his draft stock, I would say. And here we go. So, again, Sengun in the drop. And, again, just simple stuff like this. Like, if we're talking about if we're doing a Kai Jones breakdown right here, Kai Jones, like, by the way, like, Kai Jones would not be on the floor in this situation, right? He would not be playing in the fourth quarter of a Europe Cup game. Let's just get that clear, right? So Sengun's already doing better than Kai Jones in that regard. But if Kai Jones were to be playing, right, what was the like one big thing we were talking about with Kai Jones, right? It was his ability to play at the level of the screen and how much of a difference that makes defensively, just in terms of being able to switch 1 through 5. It makes the defense communicate better. Everything is so much better, right? So just watch here, Sengun, right? Miscommunication here. Sengun maybe takes a drop, the roll guy, but like then again, like he needs to be out on this shooter a little bit better. And you can see he's almost like on that pass, he's already stepping back, right? And it just kind of creates an even more of a difficult recovery for him, right? And so again, just those things that he needs to work on, like being able to kind of hold his own on the perimeter a little bit better defensively. Not necessarily always defaulting to being, inside the lane on these pick and rolls. I think a lot of those things will make him a lot more viable on that end. And even if he gets cooked, like, at least he's kind of trying to grow that aspect of his game, which I think would, for me, that would kind of be seen as like an improvement. So right here, you can see this time he actually does a decent job kind of recovering out and closing out. Problem is, like, what happens when you don't have a lot of experience guarding on the perimeter? This happens, right? You can see the undisciplined contest, right? He's not doing the thing where he's just putting his arm out and letting his legs kind of be in that same spot. He puts his entire body forward, leads to the foul. He fouls him with the body. 3 shots for CBU, right? And that's just kind of like showing you the inexperience, per se, guarding out on the perimeter, right? He's much more comfortable in the paint. And again, we said it a billion times. He's a very good paint defender just because his instincts are awesome. But when he gets out into space, that's when it becomes an issue. So it's a combination of refusing to be out there, right, and playing too deep in drop coverage, and then it's also on the flip side of that, once he is out there, he has a tendency to kind of just get roasted out there, right? So those are the kind of issues that will arise with him, and it'll be up to the team that drafts him really to really kind of work those out. But again, right here, really nice job setting the screen. Just watch the screen. He sets super hard. He's already just locked in place, right? Doesn't move his feet at all. Quick roll to the basket and then an easy, quick dunk. in transition, right? Again, just the simple plays that Sengun can do so well. And again, he kind of just glides through the air. And again, he knows how to avoid contact, which I think is really helpful. And again, not afraid of contact. He can finish through contact. But obviously, if you're going in that situation, you don't really want to be fouled because that's an easy 2 points, right? And so he kind of is really good at kind of just like dodging, wayward arms and things like that. And we got, looks like Sengun kind of did a nice job closing off that passing lane right there, getting that deflection out of bounds. And then you can look. I think we got another foul on Sengun right there. I think we caught him reaching. And here we go. Oh no, that was on Johnson. Never mind. So you can see Sengun weak side. But again, you can kind of just see like he's just standing around, right? Granted, this guy didn't crash the glass there, so it didn't really matter. But I'd like to see him just a little bit more engaged, just in terms of staying in his stance consistently, things like that. And let's see what he does here. Good no call. Good battle from Sengun right there. It's going to be Besiktas ball because Sengun, kind of busted his ass back. And, you can see him kind of moving down the floor, right? And then just the box out, the physicality, right? Battling, smart play from him. And here we go. Let's see. Will he post up? No. But again, just kind of showing that IQ. Right, so like right here, the second, so he is kind of unselfish too. So like the second this pass gets made and it's a wide open corner 3, just watch what Sengun is doing right here. Right, he's not really calling for the ball. He's just setting that screen, just being in that nearest defender's way, just to kind of clear the runway for this open 3. Right, missed shot, but like again, showing you those instincts that Sengun has, like. He'll seal guys off if he sees an open shot for a teammate. Obviously, if he has the ball and he sees an opening, he'll get that player the ball. He's not a selfish guy, despite having such a overall high usage in terms of his scoring. Right? He's not a selfish guy. Very well versed in terms of passing and picking apart defenses. And that's I think that's a very kind of underrated aspect in NBA offenses now. It's just kind of like that passing out of the post. And how effective that can be. Because if you have a dominant post scorer, we kind of saw it obviously with the decline of the post up and usefulness and just usage, right? We haven't seen it nearly as much. But if you're a good passer out of the post, I'm trying to think of good post passers, right? If you're I don't know, Shaq was really good at this in his prime, where they could suck people in, right? And then draw a double and then immediately kick out, right? And because Shaq was so big, right? And you could see over the defense and see over basically anybody. It was a really, really overall just solid, let's rewind this really quick, but it was just a solid way of generating offense, right? Right here, Sengun, good job moving his feet, and again, maybe gets away with a foul, reaching right there, but again, straight up, maybe got away with a foul there, I think, but now here he comes, dribbling the ball off the floor. It's going to be a 4-on-2, but I don't really think they're in the interest of, kind of scoring anymore, given they're up by 13 with 1:45 left. But you see kind of just the overall, good effort by Sengun right there. Who was really good at that, actually? You guys might laugh considering, just, his overall, NBA career path and how it turned out. But when he was at Duke, Jahlil Okafor was awesome as a post passer. Because he could just literally grab the ball and he'd just stand on top of it like a dad playing with his kids, right? He'd just, lift the ball above his head and nobody could touch it, right? And then he had such gigantic hands where he could just palm the ball, look around, and just throw rifles. Like a baseball throw, basically. And he'd just throw rifles all around the floor, right? He'd find Quinn Cook open on the perimeter for a 3. He'd find, Justice Winslow cutting to the basket, Tyus Jones. Anybody you wanted him to find, he would find because he could just see over the defense, and he was so skilled. Obviously, it just really wasn't his time to come into the NBA, unfortunately, right? But, in college, though, he was a fantastic passer, I thought, and one that I don't really think got a lot of credit for, his overall feel for the game. Obviously, he had his issues, right? Again, similar issues defensively. Had pretty slow feet. Would sometimes not. He was a little bit more selfish than I think Sengun is. Right there, kind of that's just not really Sengun's fault. Late in the shot clock, kind of just had to throw up some shit. And let's see what we got here. Sengun, good board. And again, just like simple stuff like this too. Like he's going to get the rebound and like look where he's looking first. He's looking to throw it to this guy first, but he realizes the defender's right there. So many times you see guys kind of making that mistake and throwing that pass, and it's nearly a steal, right? But Sengun's just like, yeah, no. You know what? No. There's a better option here. Let's just get it to Joel Berry. He'll bring the ball to the floor, and we're good, right? Just, again, the composure, just kind of like the overall feel, I think, is just really one of his best attributes as a prospect. You got a turnover right here. Going to be a easy dunk for CBU. 53 seconds left. I think we got a timeout here. Yes? Yeah, we do. Got some more replays, and here we go. So again, let's see what they do. So again, you can see kind of like the seek test was up by 22, I think, going into the fourth quarter. They now cut it to 11. You can see Sengun's kind of in still. CBU's kind of ramping up the pressure. Probably got away with a foul right there. Yeah, and there we go. Again, like, just why are you fouling with 7 seconds on the shot clock? I don't know. Whatever. And here we go. We're back here. 34 seconds left. Sengun right there, kind of showing that those issues in space that maybe we've alluded to in the past, right? He's gonna bite on this shot fake, which is pretty rare. He's usually very disciplined defensively. He's gonna bite on this shot fake, and the guard's just gonna go right by him, right? Just right down Main Street. Sengun, again, if he's more disciplined with his closeout, right? If he has choppier feet, maybe those plays can be avoided. And right there, we got another foul here. We got another timeout. And for some reason, Sengun doesn't play the last 20 seconds of this game, which I think was just kind of an interesting little note. Here we go. Again, drop coverage. Again, really just smart play. And again, Sengun kind of is a master of the drop coverage, right? Because right here, you're going to see him kind of mirror the ball, right? He's kind of shifting over, kind of trying to contain that drive, waiting for number 2 to kind of get back into position, right? And then he kind of just is right there, to intercept that pass. Now we got, looks like it's going to be a turnover, but this is actually where Sengun comes out. So that was his last play of the game. Obviously a pretty good play to end on. So with that officially ends the Alperen Sengun video breakdown series, parts 1 and 2. Again, very interesting overall prospect. I think the first video kind of blew up with him just because he is such a unique guy. So thanks for that. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty high on him. I just think he has great overall feel for the game. His post operating skills are phenomenal. And then defensively, I think he's very instinctual as well. So a lot of things to like with Sengun, despite not being the most, tailor-made player for the modern NBA. There is definitely a lot to like. So I'm really excited to see where he ends up on draft night. I hope you guys are too. If you guys have any thoughts on him, please, drop a comment below. Love to hear your thoughts on him, especially with Sengun because he's just such a confusing overall player. But yeah, overall, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. And we will see you soon. I think we're doing Corey Kispert next from Gonzaga, so that should be a really fun one as well. So, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the NBA Finals. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks.